All right, everybody, in this video, we're going to be talking about your pricing in the decline stage. At this point, you have likely dropped your price already on your lead item coming into the maturity stage. And then now we're heading towards the decline, right? Your CR is dropping again, and we're going to try to take an adjustment here to see if it works. Now, if your pricing drop doesn't improve your conversion rate, and typically that's about 2 drops for us. On the second one, it might spike it for a handful of days, but then it might not improve the conversion rate. I'm going to show you a better example, one that I was able to sell for a very long time, but typically we see it around the second price drop. So what I want you to do and want you to focus on with this graph is the fact that this was specifically done in order to prove out this theory. We had a lead item plus a handful of products that we had no traffic coming to. We simply wanted to show and prove out this pricing theory for us. So this store, you can see I started selling it, and we had it at $9.95. It's a very entry level price point. It was a necklace that wasn't all that expensive or anything like that, and we just positioned it as a product that everybody would want, but at the same time it wasn't like full of diamonds and things like that. So we sold it at $9.95, and it did very well. But you could see that we quickly went down, and it lasted probably it's about 20 days, and then we had about a handful of days with a very low conversion rate. We were still making money, but the conversion rate had certainly dipped, and you can see that around the July 17 mark. So we did a price reduction and dropped it to $7.95. Typically, I would, we were proving this out, so typically I would have told myself prior to go to $8.95. But we tested $7.95, and you can see we had a pretty big spike in conversion rate. And I was able to drag out some additional revenue even higher without changing anything, guys. I wasn't changing anything other than the price point here, and you can see how big of a spike we had. We had several days above the highest peak that I had at $9.95. So this was a pretty darn good sweet spot. But then we hit $6.95, right? Because we had another dip. And once we hit $6.95, you can see it went up a little bit, and then it was scaling its way back down. And that's where I'm going to get into the next video, how we were able to, really scale back things while remaining profitable. But this is the pricing model in action here, guys. Now, typically, if I was running a t-shirt campaign with a lot of the methods that have been out there and a lot of things that I've done myself, at that July 17 point, I was barely profitable. I was profitable, but barely. I would have cut it off, right? Because I was only squeezing out a minor amount of profit with not a lot of room to scale. But you can see how much revenue came in after that standpoint, and I was profitable the entire time. We did very well in this store. We actually did about 30 grand in profit from 64 in revenue. As far as a business standpoint, that's a pretty darn good profit once you have a gross revenue like that. So we had not a very expensive product. I think the average order value here was about $8 or $9, about $8.50, and you can see that we were typically selling something at a $7. So we were getting a couple purchases here and there to drag that average order value up. And that was helping us boost up our conversion rate as well, because the overall objective here is for you to have a lead item that comes in, but it's about pushing traffic to the lead item to get them to buy stuff in your store as well. And of course, buy the lead item on top of that. So we did very well here. The ad spend did not change until the $6.95 standpoint started getting lower and lower. Right about where the average was, we started reducing our ad spend. And you see around the September 15th, we even had another spike where we did a couple tweaks that we talked about in the video ad portion. And then it quickly dropped off from there. So this store did very well. We were very happy with it. For the most part, it was just a single item that did $64,000 in revenue. And it was only, the average order value was $850 or so. And that gave us $64,000 in revenue. So, once we take this theory and apply it again to the same store, but really build out everything to take maximum advantage from it, we're going to do very well from ourselves, because I'm not afraid of this niche ever going away, and I'm not afraid of my competition ever taking advantage of it, because I got the most out of this product. Of the 7,400 orders, I believe about 6,500 of them or more were this single necklace. So we did very well with it, and I'm pretty happy with it. So price dropping an additional time could help you save some money in the stage, right? So you could price drop an additional time, boost out a little bit of revenue and a little bit of profit other than what you were getting, and increase that profit. And another important thing, have it available for a longer period of time. It's not just about being slightly more profitable. It's about widening yourself up to a bigger fan base or a bigger customer base that wasn't going to buy at that $7.95 level, but they'd buy at the $6.95 level. So it's about increasing your profit margin as well as touching new customers that weren't touched before and they were discouraged about the pricing. But if you aren't able to make it cost effective when you price drop, return to the maturity stage price point. So if you have a maturity stage price drop and you want to move into the decline stage, or you think you're moving into the decline stage, that's going to be the key indicator is when you try to do another price drop and it doesn't pan out as a cost-effective measure for you. So that's when the real big decline it comes in. That's really around like the August 20th point for me. I had one last great day, and then you can see the decline start happening over and over and over again. I'm barely hitting that average revenue point. And so this is something that is the basic key indicator for you to know that you're in the decline stage. And you're basically at this point, you're at the lowest cost beneficial price. So any lower and you're not going to do anything for yourself. So you want to be at that maturity stage level price point. And then we're going to be again adding value to the product. We're not only going to be focusing on the pricing at this stage in order to squeeze out some more revenue. You can actually do some value add to it, which we'll talk about in the next video, where you can increase your profit here. That we tested some things out, and that helped us bring in some more revenue. And it's more important when you have some inventory there. Make sure that you remember your numbers here. Your selling price minus your delivered cost. That means your product, purchasing your product, and how much does it take to actually deliver that product to your customer. If you have a fulfillment house, if you have shipping costs, all that is the delivered cost minus your ad spend equals your profit. So that's it for this video. We're going to be talking about how to add some value to your item on the way out. And then we're going to be scaling back our ads because really the value add is the last attempt to try to move some inventory and maintain our current ad spend, or relatively our current ad spend, before scaling back our ads slowly and making sure that we can maintain an ROI all the way through this last product life cycle. And then last, we're going to be ramping up and repeating the life cycle process with our new product and our new lead item. So we'll see you in the next video. Take care.